talking about a topic that is not the most exciting. Usually I like to teach you about different gardening activities, but today we're talking about killing spotted lanternflies. I want to give you different options on ways to get rid of these guys at all different stages of their lives. You might ask, why? Why do you want to kill these insects, these living things? Well, first of all, we're required to do so in Pennsylvania and in New Jersey and a few other surrounding states. We are encouraged by the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture and by Penn State. And if you live in one of the 26 counties in Pennsylvania, like I do, you are now officially under quarantine with spotted lanternfly. Yes, another quarantine. Well, basically what that means is whenever you get into your vehicle to leave your county, actually every time you get in your vehicle, you should really be inspecting very carefully for egg masses. They are surprisingly hidden in unusual spots, like on your windshield wipers, under the carriage, and in the wheel wells. And if you're transporting anything in your car or on your car that has been outside and has a solid surface, please check those items carefully as well. Another reason to get rid of these spotted lanternfly is that they are causing millions of dollars in damage to our agricultural crops. Over $330 million at this point, mainly on grapes. And that's not even counting the damage they can do to your landscape trees, to fruit trees, and to the fruit on the trees, to the nursery industries, to the hardwood industries. The major toll predicted from all of this damage could be over $18 billion. Third, after hatching, these insects eat constantly. They have these piercing, sucking mouth parts, and they suck the sap from the trees. And as they are sucking, they are putting stress on the trees. I mean, if you have a tree full of these insects and they're all sucking away, that puts a lot of stress on the tree and could lead to a decline in the health and possible death. Also, while they are feeding, they are excreting this sugary substance called honeydew. I actually just felt a drop on my eyebrow as I was talking. That honeydew drips down on the tree, around the tree, and if you have understory shrubs or plants under the tree, it drips on those, so all those leaves get the honeydew on them, and before you know it, you have a lot of dark, sooty mold that when it covers the surface, it could lead to diseases, bacteria, and death in other plants. It's also a big, big mess. This honeydew also attracts bees and other stinging insects, which can harm children and pets playing nearby. But last, and certainly not least, they are a nuisance. These invaders snuck over here in 2014 on wooden pallets from Asia. They landed in Berks County, Pennsylvania, and since then they have multiplied to a point of serious infestation. They have no natural predators. Praying mantises might eat some of them, but they don't put a mere dent into the growing population of spotted lanternflies. They jump all over things and all over people, especially when you go outside in your yard and you just want to sit and relax. They seem to sense that you need to be annoyed or something. They are just downright annoying. The only good thing I can say about them is that they don't sting and they don't bite. And sometimes I think they're kind of pretty with their wings open. That nice red color looks really unusual and pretty. And finally, their main host plant, the tree of heaven. They are attracted to these trees, they breed on them, they live on them, and the trees are so hard to eradicate. It could take years to go through the process of killing these trees because they spread their seeds and their roots. The more you cut, the more they spread the roots. And so as you can surmise, these invaders are just taking over. And to stop them, or at least control them, there are some things that we can do, at least until more research is done and different measures can be taken. We all have to pitch in to save our own properties, our communities, our beautiful state, and the environment. It's mid-October, and these spotted lanternflies are doing their very best to fulfill their mission of laying eggs and then dying. They like to climb up high. They must know we can't reach them up there, so they like to climb way up high. I have more on the other side, but just let me show you these for now. Now the ones that are reachable, we can swat with a fly swatter or a magazine, a hard magazine. I tried a newspaper and it just got all ripped up. So let's swat away a little bit. When you swat them, you want the swatter to come down on their faces because they can actually hop away if you come from behind. It's not very difficult because at this stage they don't move very much. They're just trying to eat and lay those eggs. So you can swat away all you want and kill them. Now I was out here 2 days ago and I killed a bunch of them, and then I came out with a power washer. My neighbor Amy up the street gave me this idea, so I thought I would try it. So I power washed way up high and a whole bunch of them fell down. And actually I was surprised at how they had such a firm grip on the tree with that power washer. But they fell down to the ground and I stepped on a bunch of them. And down below here I have mulch. And I thought I was getting them, but later when I came back 2 hours later, a lot of them had disappeared. So I realized that they play dead. And so unless you're on a pavement or a street or a hard surface, you really can't squish them and kill them. I was actually so surprised to learn that I had so many lanternflies on this tree. I would say I had about 2,000 the other day. So that power washer really did a good job. I did it once and then again 2 hours later and the next morning. So right now I would say I have maybe a couple hundred on here. So it's the kind of thing you might have to keep doing over and over if you have time to finally eradicate them. Yeah, last year I only had a few spotted lanternflies on this maple tree and another one maybe 30 feet away from here. So this year they seem to really like this tree and I have to do the best I can. So you might be surprised when you take a look around at your trees. Look carefully. They seem to like the maples, the willows, the birches, and many others. So for now, let's think about the options we have. We want to kill these insects, but what is the best way to go about doing it? Well, I'm going to take you through a process called IPM, Integrated Pest Management. And basically, my definition of IPM is killing pests in the least toxic and least harmful way to the other living things in the area or in the environment. So always think about your options first before you break out the chemicals. We only want to resort to strong chemicals when all other methods have been tried and exhausted. Really, if we care about our environment, it's important that we all take on this strategy. So hang in there. I want to explain this as quickly yet effectively as possible. This is what I learned and practiced as a Penn State Master Gardener. Okay, let's get to it. Every living thing goes through life stages. In this case, the spotted lanternflies go through basically 3 stages. They hatch from eggs, and then they become nymphs. Actually, the nymphs have 2 stages. They go from like young nymphs to older nymphs, and then they become adults that look like this with the red bodies and the wings. The key is to figure out how to control them or kill them at each stage of their lives. So, at their egg stage, which is beginning now, we can scrape them off and put them into baggies. Let me show you. Here's an egg mass right here. You can see it looks like little chains all lined up there. Well, in that egg mass, there are probably 30 to 50 eggs. Each spotted lanternfly lays that many eggs at a time. So I'm basically just scraping those eggs. Oh, they're not going into the bag, they're going on the ground. I guess with the wind blowing. Here's another egg sac. I'm just scraping it. You can see the little eggs on it. See the little eggs in there? I want to make sure they go into the bag of alcohol and make sure that they die. Now, I'm sure there are hundreds of egg sacs way up high, and there's no way I can get to them right now, but I'll do my best just finding the ones that are down lower here and the ones that are on my patio furniture and my lawnmower and different surfaces outside. So basically that's all you do. You scrape them off. If they're still pretty wet, you can just kind of squish them first and you can hear a crackling sound, but I don't see any fresh ones down low here. So you get the idea. So the swatting and scraping really did no harm to the tree or any other insects in the environment. That's what we want. I am skipping the next typical stage of IPM for now, and that's biological methods. There are no natural predators, and there has not been enough research yet for us to learn how to use fungi or other parasites to control the spotted lanternflies. Now here are some methods that worked when the eggs hatched last year, and I can show you from a previous video that I did. Of course, when those little nymphs start hopping around, you can squat them and squish them, but they're pretty fast. You can also vacuum them. Some people do it with a bottle, some do it with an actual vacuum cleaner. You can use electric bug zapper rackets. They're kind of fun. And here's an idea. You can get an old pole or baseball bat and put some tape around the edge and create like a club. So you wrap the duct tape around it with the sticky part facing out, and you just go along and you collect your insects as you go. It's kind of creepy, but we have to get rid of them, and this is one way to do it. So you can make it bigger and collect a lot more than what I have here. Then of course you would dispose of this. So all of these methods were physical or mechanical methods that really caused no harm to the environment. Another idea, I'm sure you've seen them, are the sticky bands that you put around the trees. You could probably still use them now, but they're really meant for the nymph stage, and it's really important to get them up there on your trees before the middle of April. That's when the eggs will start hatching. What happens is they hatch, they drop down, all the little nymphs drop down, and they instinctively know to start climbing up the tree. And as they climb up, that's when you catch them with the sticky bands or the sticky tape. Now, there have been some problems with these sticky bands. If they're made too wide, they can catch what's called bycatch. So that means small birds, lizards, squirrels, different other beneficial insects. You don't want to catch all of those. So one idea is to create smaller strips. And this way, if anything is walking along there, if a bird lands on it, at least maybe they can pull out one leg and work their way out. But that's something you never want to see, is a poor bird that's stuck there screaming, and there's really not much you can do about it. You can purchase really sticky bands, or you can actually create your own with duct tape by making it go around backwards. The duct tape won't last as long, so you'd have to replace it after some serious rains. So you would have to keep replacing it. But this way, you'll make room for more and more spotted lanternflies. I've seen people use those bands, even though they didn't see spotted lanternflies on their trees the previous year. They couldn't believe how many little nymphs they collected on these bands. So they really do work. But the important thing is to cover them up. If you want to avoid catching all the bycatch, cover them with a netting over and around the sticky bands. Please tell all your friends and all the places where you buy this sticky stuff from about this, because a lot of people don't know. They just see, oh, I buy that big wide band and that's how to do it. But when you think about it, you know, you can modify the situation. I've also seen YouTube videos of people who make their own traps to catch the nymphs, and they just basically use netting and simple materials to do it. You can also go on the Penn State website and they show you how to make a circle trap, and these methods are pretty successful. You'd be surprised how many nymphs you can catch. So each one that you catch is one less that becomes an adult and lays more eggs. Every little bit helps. If you do use any of these methods, try not to hammer nails right into the trees. That can be harmful. Moving on to some chemical controls. Now I get it. You don't have time to deal with all these methods, but you want to get rid of the spotted lanternflies. You want to do your part. So there are some chemical methods. Two different types, soft ones and stronger ones. The softer chemicals like these would be less harmful to the environment. They would be things like insecticidal soaps, neem oil, horticultural oils, botanical oils, and pyrethrins. These basically kill on contact, not always immediately. It might take a few minutes, but you want to spray them right into the face of the spotted lanternfly, just a few squirts, and it will lubricate the insect and suffocate it, and it will fall down. So you want to apply these right on target. Okay? It might take a few seconds, like I said. I've also seen people use dish detergent. It might work, but it is not recommended. It can be harmful to the trees and have a residual effect on other beneficial insects. There are stronger chemicals. I don't have any with me, but if you buy stronger chemicals that you want to spray directly on the insects, look for the ones that have these active recommended ingredients. They would be imidacloprid, carbaryl, dinotephurin, and bifenthrin. They actually do work very well on contact, pretty much immediately, but make sure you spray them directly on the insects. As residential non-licensed people, you can apply strong systemic chemical treatments which can be sprayed or drenched around the trees, including around the tree of heaven. These chemicals have a residual effect and work very well. If you buy any products that have to be mixed or measured, just be careful that you follow the instructions to the T. And it's always a good idea to ask someone to double check your measurements. Some people think that more is better. In this case, more is worse. So be very careful when figuring out your measurements and your applications. Now, if you don't feel comfortable applying chemicals, which I totally understand, contact a licensed pesticide company or tree company that can do the job for you. They know exactly what to do in each situation, and they will be able to either spray the whole tree or inject the tree with chemicals, or inject the roots around the tree with chemicals, or do a soil drench all around the tree. Now, it's a little too late to use those chemicals on your trees now. Those products should have been used by September. And just keep in mind, if they are used, they do the job very well, but they also kill other insects. So it's your decision to make. Whatever works for you, as long as we're all working together to kill these spotted lanternflies. It's also expensive, so that's something you need to consider seriously. So in summary, try the least harmful or least toxic measures first. And as the saying goes, timing is everything. Try to get ahead of the game, especially at the beginning when those eggs hatch. You want to catch those nymphs by mid-April. Set it up. And at the end of the summer, you want to make sure you get to these adults before they start laying their eggs. Now, I'm kind of doomed here because I can't reach up way up high there. I mean, I actually see some that might be 20 feet high, and my power washer can't reach that far. So there's not much I can do with those right now. I'll do what I can down below, but I'll make sure I'm ready for them in the spring. If you have any questions, you can write them in the comments below, or you can go to extension.psu.edu. Thanks for pitching in, and good luck. And remember, if you would like to see more of my gardening videos, you can always find me on YouTube at Just Us Grown Up Girls. That's 5 separate words. And then look under my playlist called Getting Grounded in the Garden. Thank you so much, and leave some comments. If you have any special tricks or strategies, let us know.